sejahtera dan salam Ramadan kepada semua penonton kira pada hari yang mulia dan indah hari ini. Saya Fahim Mubin, host pada program Eco Explorers Malaysia atau EcoM. Pada petang ini yang membawa teruramah dengan Presiden EcoM yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Musa Ahmad atau yang lebih dikenali sebagai Ayahanda. Ayahanda, boleh saya panggil Ayahanda?
Oh yes, sure. Yeah. Dia panggil saya saja Ayahanda supaya lebih mesra dan tidak ada protokol.
Okay. Thank you, Ayahanda. Welcome everybody on this beautiful sunny afternoon to Eco Explorer Malaysia's chat with Prof. Datuk Dr. Musa Ahmad, more fondly known as Ayahanda. Please do speak in whichever language preferred, Ayahanda. Okay, so to begin with, Ayahanda, would you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Right, okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Sheikh Fahim, for hosting the session today. Well, I'm not familiar actually, with the live streaming, thing like that. But I will try. Okay, I will try, inshallah. I'm getting used, with online learning, okay, because I'm a lecturer. Well, I've been serving in the university for I think more than 3 decades already, and I'm going to retire very soon. This coming August, inshallah. Right. Okay. To introduce myself, actually, more or less, I'm having very short videos. Okay, but this is actually in Malay. So I want to share this video, and then you can see it later on. Okay. Maybe I will try to get a few keywords. Okay, from the video. Okay. So I'll try to share that. Okay. Be patient.
Okay.
So be with me.
Adalah eksplorasi. Bila kita explore kawasan persekitaran kita, itulah sebenarnya sains yang kita boleh belajar daripada alam sekitar. Saya masih ingat sebagai kampung boy kita bermain dengan kawan-kawan dekat kampung tu, tak pernah nak pakai kasut, kita berlari kaki ayam. Ada kalanya malam menipu di mana kaki tu kadang terpijak kaca dan luka. Maksud tu apa kita lakukan? Kita terus ambil pucuk seduduk, kita akan kunyah-kunyah, kita tambah kat luka dan luka kita menjadi beku. Jadi itu adalah sains sebenarnya. Jadi dengan kita explore alam sekitar kita, kita sebenarnya explore sains, dan sains sebenarnya hidup zaman saya sebagai seorang kanak-kanak pada masa itu. Cerita pasal kimia dan masyarakat. Saya sebenarnya adalah antara orang yang tak minat kimia. Di peringkat SPM, subjek sains yang saya ambil, kimia adalah yang paling teruk sekali. Walaupun masa saya masuk ke universiti, saya telah ditawarkan 7 scholarship, dan yang paling tinggi adalah scholarship daripada Petronas. Dan nak pendekkan cerita, Petronas offer saya scholarship untuk buat kimia. Itulah detik bermulanya saya memilih kimia sebagai bidang saya. Dan sebab saya mula belajar kimia, saya mula faham kimia. Umpama kata orang, tak kenal maka tak cinta. Saya kenal kimia, saya cinta kimia. Dan Alhamdulillah saya telah keluar daripada UPM untuk ijazah pertama dengan kelas pertama dalam bidang kimia. Apa yang saya nak cerita sebenarnya adalah kimia adalah bidang yang selalu sangat disah-tafsirkan oleh masyarakat. Bila sebut kimia, masyarakat akan terfikir mengenai senjata kimia, letupan, and then mungkin drug dan macam-macam aspek kimia lagi yang kita rasakan perlu dijauhi daripada kita. Tapi sedar ataupun tidak, kita hari-hari kita makan nasi. Nasi itu adalah karbohidrat. Nasi itu adalah bahan kimia. Sedar ataupun tidak, orang perempuan pakai lipstick untuk menyelahkan para super mereka. Lipstick itu adalah juga bahan kimia. Sedar atau tidak, air yang kita minum, air itu juga adalah bahan kimia, H2O. Jadi bahan kimia sebenarnya adalah sangat hampir dengan kita. Jika saya diberikan peluang untuk menyumbang kepakaran saya secara percuma kepada masyarakat sepanjang hayat saya akan pastikan masyarakat kita akan mendapat bekalan air yang bersih. Ini kerana bekalan air yang bersih adalah sangat penting kepada kehidupan. Manusia boleh hidup tanpa makanan beberapa hari, tapi tanpa air yang bersih, manusia hanya boleh bertahan beberapa jam sahaja. Dan untuk memastikan manusia mendapat air yang bersih, ini adalah satu cabaran kerana air yang bersih itu adalah sangat penting dalam aspek untuk meningkatkan kualiti kesihatan masyarakat. Dengan ilmu yang saya ada, apa yang saya harapkan akhirnya adalah barakah daripada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala.
Alright, okay. Fahim, more or less, okay, that's about me, you know. So maybe I can just take a few keywords, from the video. I think if you listen carefully, basically, you can get, from this video that basically I'm a lecturer, I'm a scientist basically. So as a scientist, as a lecturer, you need to do a lot of research, okay, apart from your teaching. Okay? So that's part of the thing, okay, that I do, at the moment in the university for the past 3 decades or so. And then actually my area actually is chemistry. Okay, chemistry is very, very, very boring. It's a bored subject. In fact, in myself, compared to all the science subject that I have, chemistry is the worst subject. I don't really like chemistry, but the only thing that really motivated me to take chemistry because of the Petronas scholarship. Okay, so I've been offered 7 scholarships that time, and I said yes, I want Petronas, I want the Petronas because that's the highest. And the I suppose it's the most glamour lah that time. Okay, so I did challenge myself. Alhamdulillah, so I managed to graduate in chemistry with first class honors, and that I paved my way to be a professor for the time being. And I start my life as a kampung boy. If you read kampung boy, like kampung boy when you comics, okay, so that's me basically. There's nothing inside the kampung boy comics that I don't do. So everything actually, I did that, with my friend, in kampung. So including the sendudo, when we play together occasionally, we get cut, in our legs, okay, for instance. So we use, the sendudo, okay, the young leaf of the sendudo, and then we just chew it, and then you just put it, in the cuts, and then suddenly blood is going to stop. Okay, so that's actually science. That's science. And I realized that when I becoming the professor in university, I realized that in fact one of my colleagues doing a research on that, to study, to extract the what you call it, the the active component ingredient from the melastoma, okay, from sendudo. And actually she presented in one of the R&D exhibition in Geneva, and she won a gold medal. I thought, wow, I did that a long time ago. Okay, so that's science. That's science. And then I think more or less that's for all. Okay, I don't want to go very detailed about myself, because later on I'm going to share some of the activities again that I'm having at the moment and in the past, which having some connection, with nature. So back to you, Ananda. Ananda, I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, okay. Louder slightly.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, good.
Terima kasih Ayahanda. Memang mengagumkan latar belakang Ayahanda. Seterusnya boleh Ayahanda mencerita sedikit mengenai hobi dan aktiviti kegemaran Ayahanda.
Right, okay. Inshallah. Fahim, feel free to speak in English, no problem. Okay? So we can use bilingual today, English and Malay, make it very informal. Okay, so I prepare some slide, to show, because if I'm just telling the story, So maybe we're not really optimizing, our vision. So with the slide, I'm able to put some pictures so that maybe you can appreciate. Okay. So let I share,
Okay.
the slide first.
Okay.
Can you see it, Dada?
Yes, can.
All right. Okay. So I just do the slideshow. Right. So I suppose you can see in full views now, isn't it, Fahim?
Um, it's a bit small with some black at the side.
All right. Okay. Because actually, I think slideshow here. But anyway, can you see the picture? Can you see the slide?
Yeah, the picture can.
Right. And all right. Okay. So maybe to summarize,
Yep.
I call it my nature activities. Actually, as you said, I mean, as you know, my background actually is chemistry. So I'm not a botanist. I'm not what you call it. I mean, something with a nature background in a way. But indirectly, for based on my what you call it, my qualification, my training background. Okay, actually, I was trained as a environmental chemist, okay, environmental chemist. So in a way, I mean the areas, okay, that I'm in at the moment is also slightly relevant to the environment as well. Okay, in fact, now in the university, I'm doing teaching and some of the subject, okay, basically related to the environment. Okay, so that I've been doing that I think for the past as I said, 30 years or so. Okay, so in a way, it's quite relevant as well. So to summarize it, okay, so this actually based on my hobby, because I like nature very much, and one of the things that I really like about it actually is I really appreciate a sunset and sunrise. Okay, so wherever I go, okay, whether I'm attending, a seminar abroad, okay, whether I'm going for a holiday, locally or maybe abroad with family, I will really, try to find an opportunity, okay, for me, to see, the sunrise or the sunset. So these are some of the pictures lah. Okay, some of the collection that I have. If you if you becoming, my Facebook friend, okay, I mean, some of this picture actually you can find it there, okay, because I like to share, okay, with my Facebook friend, okay, so that maybe they can appreciate that as well. Okay, I mean the first picture, if you can see my cursor, actually it is from the sunset, in one very large desert, in Sharjah. Okay, in Sharjah, UAE. This actually is my first visit to desert. Okay, where we're having, some activities in there, and we spend, a night, okay, in there. I mean, enjoying, the local, what you call it, culture show. Okay, and then here actually in Langkawi, me and my friend, okay, having some apa ni, drink a coconut, so we enjoy, the views here. You can see very 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 superb view, and I mean, bottom here you can see, the scenery, in Royal Belum, okay, in Perak, okay, very, well, I mean very, what you call it, really catching, really catching your eyes, okay, catching your eyes. And here, when I jog, okay, one evening, in Melbourne, I also took some pictures, that's showing some of the sunset over there, because at that time the weather actually is not very good, so a bit gloomy, so I can't really see, the scenery, okay, the real scenery of, the sunset in Melbourne. And in Krabi, of course, the weather more or less is the same like in Malaysia. So you can see that as well. It's very beautiful. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, okay, apart from observing, the sunset and also the sunrise. Okay, as a lecturer, I'm also doing, some research and consultancy, and that also very related, okay, to environment as well. Like, I'm becoming a consultant for some big companies, okay, like Petronas, Berjaya Group, okay, and some apa ni, state government, So basically, whenever they appoint me, okay, they will appoint me as a consultant, for air quality and water quality. So in a way, this is very relevant, to environment as well. Okay, and my research basically been focusing, on chemical sensors or biosensors. Okay, this actually, at that time it's quite considered, it's quite recent areas of research. Okay, but my focus actually on the environment pollutants, detection of environment pollutants, and also food quality. And here actually some of the paper cutting. Okay, so I don't really keep all of them. Okay, so this is some of the example that I have, where we able to develop, a kit, for water quality, okay, and also to detect phenol, okay, in water. So that also I consider quite related, to environment as well. And during Malaysia time, okay, when I was, in the campus, okay, during PKP especially, so I like to to move around, within the campus. As you know, UC, I'm working in USIM, okay, for the past 10 years. And before that, actually, I work with UKM because I'm both experienced in UKM as well as UKM as well as USIM. And compared to UKM, USIM actually, the areas, okay, it's not only big, okay, but less developed, okay, meaning, okay, because of we waiting, for the government, okay, to give us some grant, for development, okay. So while waiting, okay, some of the areas actually still, that's what I'm using, the quotation as untouched USIM, even though, still not developed the area yet, okay, but it's giving, like, very good environment, okay, for us, to move around and, to inhale very, very, what you call it, very fresh oxygen and so on, okay. And actually, we do some hiking as well, okay, within the campus. And in fact, in this case, just before, the pandemic, okay, we plan to have to build, a track, okay, about 45-minute trekking, from the base, okay, from the base until the peak, I guess about 40 to 45 minutes. And actually, we are think of preparing it, for the new student. But suddenly, the what you call it, the PKP and Soviet abandoned the project more or less for the past 2 years. So fully now, with the endemic phase, okay, that we have been able, to continue, with this what you call it, activities. Yeah. All right. As I said, even though it's not double yet, okay, we're having very, very big lake as well, in USIM, and actually a lot of fish inside, okay, and in the afternoon, more efficient, especially when you can, okay, students like to do, like, having camping, okay, having their time, okay, mingling around, with their colleague and so on. Okay, so sometimes I join with them, okay, and taste some of the cooking that they have, So this is a very enjoyable moment, okay, for us. And cycling is a part of the thing, okay, that I use, that managed to do. If I managed to develop, the cycling team in USIM, and during our spare time, okay, we use bicycle to explore, okay, the whole campus, okay. And you can see here actually, one of the highest peak, in USIM. I call it Bukit Taubat, and some of the nature, the wildflowers, and so on, okay, around the areas. And sometimes I'm just cycling, going climbing, the slope in USIM, just to test, my, what you call it, uh, my energy, my stamina, because as you know, I'm almost, okay, 60, okay, very soon. So sometimes it's very, very good, to do some exercise in order for you to maintain, your health. This is some of my activity with my students, in the afternoon. Actually, it's not properly organized. Okay, just, I just in the afternoon, normally what I did, I just go to the sports center, and whoever there, I will invite them, to join me for the cycling.
Oh, I see.
And Fahim, anything, Fahim?
No. You
Okay.
can carry on.
Okay, so this is actually one of the sunrise. Okay, sorry, sunset. In USIM. Okay, in the very, very, very wild bushes, if you like, not to say jungle. Okay, and actually it's quite nice as well. and motocrossing, okay, activity again that we did together as well in USIM. And as I said, sit there quietly and watching, for the sunrise and the sunset. It is something that I like to do, on my own. Okay, so like this one. Okay. And apart from that,
Mm.
actually I like to do the mount climbing. Okay, these such pictures, when we climb Fujiyama in 2019, okay, together with USIM student. And apart from that, okay, this is 2019, just before the pandemic. And 2 years before that, actually, I brought a group of students, from USIM, okay, to basically to conquer, the Rinjani, okay, Mount Rinjani in Indonesia. And as you know, Mount Rinjani is actually one of the most beautiful, what you call it, mountains, in the world, okay, because of the what you call it, because of the volcano, okay, that they have, in this mountain, okay, just like Fujiyama, but Rinjani actually still active, okay, till now. And we also did, some climbing, for Mount Kinabalu. Actually, the fourth time, okay, for me, okay, but for the student here, is their first time, and actually we get a full coverage, in a local newspaper for this activity, Alhamdulillah. And again in 2018, I brought a group of students from USIM as well, okay, to conquer, the Gunung Tahan. All right. And apart from mountain climbing, okay, the cycling, I'm having a team in USIM, and we participate in many jamboree, okay, that we organize. All right. So another, that's more or less, my what you call it, my hobby lah, okay, or my activities, okay, during what you call it, uh, during my spare time, okay, more or less. All right. Okay, I'll stop there for a while. Okay, Fahim. I have more or less, maybe some other slide, okay, that I want to share, yeah, this one. Yeah. So, shall I continue, or maybe you want to have a few words first, okay, before I continue? Fine. Are you there? Fine.
Sorry, Ayahanda.
Okay.
I'm
Stop
having
anyone.
internet issues on my end.
Hmm.
So sorry. Please continue with your presentation.
All right. Okay. So we'll continue with some of my thought lah, okay, regarding, our NGO, okay, but not really focusing on NGO. So I will just really discuss it on the surface, the needs, to have, NGO like EcoM, okay, since, actually we are having a lot of issues, with regard to environment, in our countries. So maybe by sharing some of the slide, okay, by having, or maybe by pondering some of the slide that I want to share, with the audience, okay, hopefully this is going to give some, what you call it, something like, okay, for us, to ponder, and maybe, to give some motivation, okay, for us, to work, in this NGO, in order for us, to contribute to the country in a way, to preserve, our environment. Okay, I ada share
Yes.
sekejap ya.
Okay.
Nampak ke anak dia?
Yes.
Sekejap ya. Yeah, actually, I try to kanan dia, so dia tak moving. Yeah, it's not moving. Maybe I'll try to share it again. Very sorry about the technical, very sorry about the technical.
Okay. No worries.
Right. Okay. So EcoM's, what I put here, the topic is simply a platform for agenda of server nature. Okay. So basically, my thinking lah, my thinking, about our NGO. And actually, in order for us, to go through this, actually, I want to share, here, okay, basically some of the article, that I get, from the internet. I try to share, but okay. Right. Actually, so from Krishna accounts. Okay. So I think he wrote about, to save nature you need to know how, okay, to save it first. I think which I'm totally agree with it. Okay. If you read here, okay, telling people to care for nature is one of the creatures of environmentalism. Okay, and I do that every day. I go on blabbering with my friends, family members, and colleagues about how we should work towards reducing global warming, how we should try not to waste excess of water, electricity, and so on and so forth. Okay, but the harsh reality is that nobody cares. Okay, nobody cares. So basically, like what highlighted, in red here, what most people knows is information about the nature. So most people, they think, okay, that I mean, they aware about the nature, okay, but what they have basically just information about it, and then but they don't not really aware about it. Okay, so they know about the nature, okay, but they don't really, having soul in it. Okay, so they know the nature,
I
but
see.
there is no soul in it. Okay, so tak ada soul, tak ada. Okay, jadi as a result dia tidak menghayati sangat, okay, isu nature itu. Tapi bila sebut nature tu, dia tahulah, okay, dia tahu matahari, dia tahu pokok-pokok and so on. Okay, so that's the thing beautiful about it. Okay, for instance, okay, so I continue with what he shared. In the article. Okay, have you ever experienced? Okay, for instance, okay, for me to sit alone in front of the early morning sun and feel the cell of my body with the warm bright in the rays of sunlight is a great way to start the day. Okay, that's what he feel, and I feel the same thing as well. So Mali, we really appreciate, the environment, really appreciate our nature. And if you walk alone, in the jungle, in the thick jungle, for instance, can you really appreciate it? Okay, can you feel, I mean, the freshness, okay, of maybe, the air in there? Okay, can you smell, the freshness of the jungle? Can you do you really enjoy, I mean, the what you call it, the sounds, okay, that have been created, by maybe some creatures, okay, in that areas and so on. Okay, so if you're having, that feeling, okay, so I think, okay, you really appreciate nature with your soul. Okay, otherwise, okay, you might know something about nature, but there is no soul in it. All right. Okay, so I want to like a bit, about the Islam and pokok. Okay, how Islam really appreciate a tree or pokok. Okay, so it's based on these two hadiths. Okay, I don't have to read it. Okay, based on these two hadiths. Okay, this is actually giving, very strong indication. Okay, that Islam really encourage. Okay, strongly recommended. Okay, that we should preserve pokok. We should preserve trees. We should plant trees. Okay, and so on. Okay. And this effect, okay, about trees. Okay, so trees basically is known as a carbon sink. Okay, and we know, everybody knows about photosynthesis. Okay, the function that make trees is very vital, in our survival. Okay, so trees absorb carbon dioxide through their leaf. Okay, and forests are the second largest carbon sink on the planet. Okay, if we aware about it. Okay, so we know this fact. Okay, so we can appreciate the real importance of this conference, and that's going to encourage us, to preserve, our nature, our environment. It is another what you call it, another fact. Okay, the little rock, the power of trees. Okay, so amount of CO2 equivalent that been removed, okay, by trees, okay, so mounting to about 31.6 million tons. That's really a lot. Okay, and storm runoff avoided, okay, 5,530 million gallons. That's really, it's really a lot as well. Okay, and air polluted absorbed. Okay, air pollution absorbed, okay, by the trees. Okay, 8 to 5 million pounds. Okay, so I think this effect alone, okay, that we produce, by our researchers, okay, actually should become an eye opener to us. Okay, we should feel guilty, if we not really, function as a Khalifa. Okay, as what is instructed by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, okay, in this world, for instance, okay, to preserve, our environment. And that's one good thing. Okay, that's one good effect. It's about, pokok boleh bercakap. Okay, this can actually I put it in overlay so that you can see the paper cutting one after another. But because I think I have some technical here, so I can't really do that. Okay, but anyway, trees and trees, okay, they are able to talk to each other. They can communicate. Mashallah, it's really beautiful. Okay. And this one of the article, okay, that been published, wrote by one of the ketua pengarah, okay, ketua pengarah perhutanan, okay, Malaysia, okay, FRIM, uh, Datuk Dr. Abdul Latif, okay, bercakap dengan pokok. He himself practicing, speak, okay, to the trees, okay, Masya Allah, okay. And if you experience enough, okay, maybe it's like, the old people, our old generation, sometimes they like, okay, to talk, to their, the trees that they planted. For instance, kalau di tanah pokok rambutan tu dah lama tak buah, dia kata, baik kau buah ni, kalau kau tak buah nanti aku potong. So the next season tu, okay, you will see that the pokok tu buah. Okay, so that kind of practice that has been done previously, about the communication, okay, with trees. Okay. Right, and in fact, if you reflect to the hadith, okay, from Rasulullah SAW, hadith riwayat Bukhari, okay, it's true, okay, that actually pokok, okay, the trees can communicate. This is the hadith, okay, by riwayat by Bukhari, okay, mentioning about how Rasulullah SAW, okay, communicate, with a trunk, okay, with a dead trunk of pokok korma, okay, it's a palm of korma, okay, a palm of dates, a trunk of palm dates. Okay? So basically, this is actually the proof, okay, that basically we can communicate, with trees and see maybe in the near future with the technology that we have, okay, we should be able, to communicate, with trees, okay, like Nabi Sulaiman able to communicate, with ants. Okay, right, Fahim. Actually, I just purposely, highlighting this about the pokok senduduk and the masyarakat Melayu. Okay, actually, as a orang Melayu, you are maybe the young generation, and I'm sure maybe you're not familiar with this because back in UC when I asked, in fact, our lecturer whether you know what is pokok senduduk, so I walked together with them, okay, in the jungle more or less, and then I saw some of these, pokok senduduk. I mentioned to them. I asked them, okay, simple question. Do you know pokok senduduk? At least I asked 3 lecturers with PhDs. Okay, they don't know. Okay, so that show how our generation now. Okay, they don't really updates their knowledge. Okay, with regard to nature. Okay. So these are basically different senduduk, okay, different colors, okay, but they are belong, to the same family, I suppose. And this is the trees, okay. So some of the information about it, okay, the rumpah darat in some countries they call it senggani, keduduk, senduduk, and so on. The color normally actually is ungu, okay, but they have different colors as well. They have ungu, they have pinks, okay, and also they have white as well. Okay, what I want to highlight about this actually, our old generation, our nenek moyang and so on, okay, they already use this, in their daily life. As as I mentioned just now, okay, when I got cut, when I'm playing with my colleagues, with my friends, back when I was a kid. So basically, I just use, the young leaf here. I just chew it and then I just put it, on the cut, and later on it's going to able to cure, okay, within maybe a few minutes. All right. So, and sometimes they call it Senduduk Holland. Okay, Senduduk Holland. Okay, the one, in white here. Okay. And here basically the some of the practice, in Malay tradition, like if you have cerit berik, you have diarrhea, for instance. If you have a cut, okay, if you have leukorrhea, you have buasir. What is buasir in what's the medical term for that? I'm also not remember that. So basically they use different part, of the senduduk, and basically the how they should process, okay, the components, okay, the part of the senduduk, okay. In order for us, to cure, whatever disease that they have, okay. And again, sakit gigi, kat angin, lengur sendi, tulang, rawatan, pembesar, and so on. Okay, so this is basically, the procedure that they need to follow. So this indicate okay how our old generation, the Malay community basically they have having a lot of advantage, by being close okay to nature they can get some benefit from the trees again that they know continue some what you call it, some ingredient okay for their use, I mean, to cure some of the diseases. And this considers some of the the latest application of sedudo as well. This particularly very popular in Indonesia. They use aqua sedudo as aquascape aquarium, and the demand actually very high. It's very beautiful, isn't it? And they use sedudo because of there is no tannin. Okay, so it's not poisonous. So the water is safe, for the I mean for the above fish and so on. Okay, and now actually based on the old tradition okay that our Malay community having, and now they try to market it. Okay, so among others they having minyak serbaguna senda putih, and then they try to commercialize it. Okay, and the same thing okay, they try to make tea out of it. Okay, because the content of the content of antioxidant okay in Sindhu actually is very high. Okay, that's why they make a tea. And okay, instead of sipping teh tarik every morning, okay, you can sip a teh sedudo every morning, which is healthier. All right. And it's some fact. This is some fact of the R&D about the sendu, meaning that the real scientists working on sendudo, and the findings is amazing. Okay, and they really correlate and support well, what we practice, by our Malay community, okay, previously, a long time ago. And some brief info about it. Okay, we have more than 4,000 species. Okay, more than 4,000 species basically. Okay, on the sendudo. Okay, so I don't know how true is it. Maybe I need to ask, to feel expert in this. Maybe Prof Wanju able to clarify this. And we're having 22 species. And in Malaysia alone, we are having more than 12 species. What I'm showing you basically, okay, there's three species. Okay, the one in white, in pink, and also the purple. Yeah. So I don't know the rest of the species. Maybe somewhere. Maybe still not been. It's not found yet. So I don't know. And based on my easy researching on the easy proxy and using sedudo as the keyword, so I found in Sandarek almost about 600 hits and more than 700 hits in Springer link. Okay, this basically is a database again that we can that then attach, that can be used, I mean, to search some of the publication in Sedudo. Okay, so this just the figure is quite high, the hit is quite high, indicating that the interest okay to do research on Sedudo actually consider very high as well. Okay, so among some of the finding, okay, basically they found out that Sedudo having 6 sebatian compound, okay, 2 amida and 3 flavonoid, okay, and one of the most important for the free radical basically quercetin. Quercetin actually having the kepekatan perencatan, apa kata perencatan ni, actually concentration okay for the well akan remember the term in English okay for the perencatan actually, but the what the primary that is IC50 is 0.69. Okay, so meaning okay they I mean they are basically having very good okay antioxidant, okay, and these are able basically to reduce the effect of the free radical from our environment. Okay, and some of the application of it, okay, we can use the extract, okay, the anthocyanic particularly, I mean, as a warna asli, okay, the as the dye, as the dye for fabric and also for food. Okay, and this actually because it's actually the plant based, so actually it's not toxic. So antioxidant content also very high. And it can be used also for pemulihan tanah lombong secara filter restoration. Okay, I mean to revive, the the land, okay, in the what you call it, in the mining areas, and also the anticoagulant actually is very high. Okay, basically this actually is something to do, with the blood coagulation. Okay. Right. Maybe I highlight a bit, about Islam and alam sekitar. How alam sekitar is very important, and in fact, Islam, okay, I mean, it's been stressing a lot of Quranic verses, okay, a lot of hadiths, actually, instructing us, asking us, I mean, to aware about the environment. Okay, this is actually one of them, from Surah Al Imran. Okay, so verses 191 and 191. Okay, so right, sesungguhnya dalam penciptaan alat langit dan alat bumi dan silih bergantinya alam nasihat telah ada tanda bagi orang yang berakal. Ini basically actually the tuntutan, okay, untuk for us to really observe our environment, I mean our surrounding, okay, to see and maybe to get something out of it, okay, maybe to ponder and maybe to from there, okay, maybe to see the greatness of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, okay, who I mean the one who really created of all of this in our surrounding, okay? And this actually another verse from Surah Al-Rum, okay, verse 41. Telah nampak kerosakan di darat dan di lautan akibat perbuatan langkah manusia, all the pollution and so on, okay. This has been mentioned actually a long time ago in Surah Al-Rum, okay. And I mean the last sentence here, supaya Allah merasakan kepada mereka sebagai dari akibat perbuatan mereka sendiri. Meaning, okay, what we do today, actually we need to pay. I mean, we need to pay for it, okay. Like, now we're having, the microplastic pollution, okay, for instance, okay, we have, a very severe flood, okay, for instance. They actually, based on what we've been dumping, into our environment previously, into our river and so on. Okay, that's something for us, to really to ponder. And this that is possible, okay, that one day we're going to move from this environment to become situation like this, and for from very clean and beautiful river and to become water protect resources like this. All right. Okay, that's fair. I think this really very important. Okay, very important. For NGO like Eco Explorer Malaysia. I mean, to play a role. Okay, for us, to come together, volunteers. Some of our some of our what you call it, to waste of our time. Okay, to share some of our experience, to share our knowledge. Okay, so that public will really aware about it. Okay. So this basically, the write up, for Eco Explorer Malaysia. I don't want to read all of them, okay, but just pay attention on the on the red one, okay. To deliver the skill of exploring, documenting, and sharing the scientists, and so on, and the second the expected impact of initiative include first-hand knowledge transfer, blah blah blah. What I can conclude from this basically, okay. So maybe with the president of Eco Explorer Malaysia. Okay, basically we aim to deliver the skill of exploring. Okay, because I mean for you to explore the environment, the nature, you need a skill. You don't just simply go there on your own and just walk through like that. Okay, so you need a skill in order for you to really explore and to get the optimum, the maximum, from your experience, okay, and to documenting, that's very beautiful, and sharing the side of nature in what area of this with current digital era. That's why we are using the online webinar and so on. This is really very what you call it, very novel, activities, okay, that we do together, and if you're doing it continuously and consistently, even though maybe the amount actually is not really big, okay, it's going to give an impact. It's just like a drop of water, okay, that's going, to hit, a big of stone. If you do it continuously, if the water keep hitting this big stone continuously, for a long time, without a stop, one day, okay, the stone is going to break. Okay, it's going to, and that's the impact that we're going to have, hopefully, in our community, inshallah. And apart from that, okay, we want to offer both digital and hands-on experience. That's why we're having, the online safari for them to know that, to get some knowledge. And later on, we're going to having the follow-up, okay, on the hands-on application, on the hands-on or the real safari, okay, so that they can touch, they can feel, they can hear, by their own ears and so on. Okay, like what we experienced later on. Okay, I mean before, when we were together, in Johor. Okay, remember last time in Taman Negara. And that's really very wonderful an experience, So hopefully that kind of activity, okay, we can do it, consistently, every year, inshallah. And our expected impact is basically, to transfer, the first hand knowledge, okay, from the expert, okay, to the participants. That is always, our hasrat, our intention, okay, so that they can get, the first hand information, okay, rather than from the second hand, from the tertiary hand, and so on. They will get the first hand information. Okay, we're going to bring the expert to them, and they can interact, with the expert, okay, and so on. And also to reveal the hidden creativity and discover the latent potential within the lower secondary school children. So we purposely try to catch them at their early age, okay, because they are still not spoiled yet, okay. So their mind actually is still fresh, okay. So it's up to us, we can put many colors on it. What color do you want? Okay, when do we want to put a green colors, okay. So they will accept it, So having education at early age is always, very fantastic. Okay, so that's what happened, in Japan. Okay, that's why, when I climb the Mount Fuji, one thing that I noticed, there is no dustbin at all. There is no dustbin at all. If you climb Mount Kinabalu also very clean, but along the way, you will see there is a dustbin. You need to put you need to put, your trash, okay, in the dustbin. Okay, dari tong sampah situ you tagas situ. But you go to Japan, there is no tong sampah. You need to bring down your own rubbish, in your bag. You need to carry your own rubbish, in your luggage, in your bag. Okay, so that's really wonderful. And that's where, they really, what you call it, having this culture, towards their, what you call it, their citizen, okay, during their early age. So they have a proper and structured, education, at early age. Okay, that's something that you want to do in our country as well. And hopefully, EcoM will be able, maybe to facilitate it in that sense, particularly when with regard, to education, to the environment education, inshallah. And what really motivates us, what's our vision in a way, is our drive to amplify to school. Okay, we want to amplify our effort, okay, to school. Okay, we want to touch more, okay, student in the school. Okay, we want to have massive, okay, impact later on. Okay, and in fact, the aspect of sustainability also is very important. Okay, you go back to Islam, the hadith is there, mashallah. I think you remember, when once, Rasulullah SAW actually, he mentioned, to Sa'ad, okay, please don't waste water even when you perform your wudu, okay. And Sa'ad say, Rasulullah, even if I perform my wudu, I also need, to really, don't waste the water, something like that. Okay, adakah in fact dalam wuduk ni pun I need to save water? Okay, and that's also yes. Okay, in fact, if you perform wudu in the flow of a stream, okay, in the stream that's flowing, dalam sungai yang mengalir, even though kalau you ambil wuduk dalam sungai yang mengalir, okay, you need also to save the water. Logically, anda, okay, if you perform wudu in a river, sungai yang mengalir, sungai yang cetek lah, okay, sungai rekreasi, for instance, actually whatever been wasted, okay, will fall back to the river, isn't it? So logically, we are not going to waste anything because everything will be back, okay, to the river. But what Rasulullah try to say here actually is our mindset. Okay, that's really very important hadith that we can learn from. And in fact, Rasulullah, okay, when perform wudu, and when untuk mandi wajib and so on, they always having, some kind of measures. Okay, a cupak, berapa ganteng, and try to keep with it. Okay. And with regard to waters, a lot, of other hadiths, ayat Quran and so on, okay, that really encourage us, okay, to save water and so on, okay. And here is something, okay, that really touch, myself, okay, because I'm doing this, for the water quality and so on. So this ayat, this particular surah Al-Mu'minun, okay, Al-Mu'minun, okay, verse 18 to 20. If you see the one that I put, in red and blue here, hujan dari langit, okay, dengan sukatan tertentu, hujan turun dengan sukatan yang tertentu, akan tersimpan di bumi. Can you see here? Tersimpan di bumi, the strong, basically roots here that really maintain the earth. Okay, and the earth is going, the soil, okay, the soil is going to absorb in the water. That's what it meant by tersimpan di bumi. But if you cut the trees, what happened? okay, all this will gone and no longer, this will no longer happen. Okay, that's why the flash flood is going to occur. Okay, dengan air dan kebun-kebun akan hidup subur. Okay, dengan itu pokoknya asal tubuh jadi kasar. Okay, meaning okay, this something that really easily, I mean, this hadis, this verses, okay, something that we can relate, with our vision and mission. Okay, with the environment education. Okay, particularly with regards, to water conservation. Okay, and yes, in water conservation, okay, we need to have some what you call it, knowledge on this as well. And it's another surah. This is a lot. It's a lot. Okay, we can have publication maybe on this. I mean, for other Muslims, we get to really ponder, and this is also part of their duty, for them to preserve, our environment. Okay, and me as a scientist, as a chemist, okay, for instance, I really appreciate this. And this really happened. This has been erased by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. It's happening in our environment. Okay, so having the phosphorus cycle, we're having the water cycle, we're having the atmospheric nitrogen cycle to keep the whole environment balanced. Okay, mashallah. This is what we call as al mizan. Okay, al mizan. Okay, so I put here. Okay, so something. Okay, we have also surah mizan. Okay, to be related with it. Okay, I almost come to an end. Okay, another, and maybe after this, if anybody want to ask question or maybe some response, maybe we can respond to that. But I suppose we are quite late now. I'm supposed to finish at 3:30, but now almost 4 o'clock. Okay, so well, as a conclusion, okay, based on what I've been presented just now, okay, our journey, in Eco M, in Eco Expo Malaysia, actually is going to be very rough. It's just like when we play, water rafting. It's going to be very rough. Okay, but what the most important, actually, we need to really confidence. Okay, with our vision, we need to see our vision. Okay, we need to see what we want to achieve. Okay, that's important. Okay, the journey is going to be very rough. Okay, but most important, actually, for us to really cling. Okay, for us to really hold, our what you call our vision. Okay, what we want to achieve, in our organization, and we need to work in a team. Okay, so just like water rafting. Okay, imagine if some of them, they're going, I mean, to, kalau sebahagian tu dia akan kayu ke depan, kayu ke belakang. Okay, so that's going to work. They're not going to go anywhere, isn't it? Okay, so we need to really have a good, okay, teamwork, in our organization, and we should be able, we should be ready, okay, to confront, okay, any challenges, okay, that we're going to face. Okay, so if we're able to do that, okay, we know what we're doing. We have a very strong team, even though maybe the number is not that many. Okay, and if we are ready, okay, to face any challenges that we're going to face. Okay, if we're able to do that, if we're able, to stick on it, finally, okay, we reach the destination, and we're going to really enjoy. Okay, for those who already, I mean, go through, I mean, this water rafting activities. Okay, you will you will see. Okay, you can appreciate. Okay, what I'm trying to say. All right. So with that, okay, another fun. Okay, I end the session, okay, with this pantun, because actually, I was from UKM. Okay, you can train me, okay, with a pantun. So I like to have that, before we end the session. Musim tengkujuh datang melanda, sampan kecil di lambung ombak. Demikianlah celotehan ayahanda, entahkah berguna, entahkah tidak. Okay, wallahu alam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so back to you, Ananda. So
Okay.
I try to end the session. Stop sharing. All right. Okay. Very sorry, about the time taken. It's more than what I'm supposed to spend.
Thank you so much, Ayahanda. Very inspiring speech and talk from many generations and the young generation. And semoga kerja-kerja eksplorasi Malaysia terus maju dan bermanfaat. Thank you again, Ayahanda. I, for one, cannot wait for the various programs that Eco Explorers have in store for everyone. We pray for all of EcoM's dreams and plans will come to success for the sake of sharing the legacy of our wonderful country's natural heritage, our plants, animals, and resources of our beloved Malaysia. And we would like to look at the questions. Um, so we have one question. It is the online question. So, which part of outdoor nature resonates most with you, Ayahanda?
Yeah, okay. I would say maybe hiking. Okay, hiking. Because with cycling, okay, with cycling, the time actually is very, very short. Okay, and if you join Jamboree, basically,
Yes.
you have certain time limit. Okay, that you need to finish. Okay, so you don't really enjoy, the scenery and so on. But with hiking, okay, we're going to sleep there. We spend the night. Okay, when we climb Gunung Tahan, for instance, so we spend 4 nights, and when we climb
Mm.
Rinjani, actually we spend I think 5 nights, okay, in there. So you have enough time for you to really appreciate, environment, okay, to have a coffee, while enjoying the scenery and so on. So for those who still not, joining, these hiking activities, okay, maybe it's good. Okay, so I think Eco Explorer, we're going to organize one, okay, together with Pena, I think on the June 11, inshallah. Uh, Pena actually, the national organization, okay, on the poem, Puisi. So we're going to climb Bukit Melati in Nilai, and once we reach the peak, we're going to have a coffee and nasi lemak Bawang Gadang. Okay, the very famous nasi lemak, in Nilai. And then we're going to have poem recitation. Okay, maknanya mendeklamasi puisi. So puisi actually is another activity, okay, that I really fond of.
Okay. One more question from Soraya Raisa. Why is nature important to all of us and especially for children?
Yeah, okay, it's very important because we're going to live with it. Okay, so we and nature is like, symbiosis. If you are not really taking care of our environment, you're gone. If
Yeah, that's
even
right.
it's not your time, maybe your generation, maybe your children, they're going to suffer. Okay, so we
Mm.
are in symbiosis. Whatever we dump into the environment, okay, we're going to get it back. Remember, a few decades ago, a long time ago, actually people just really dumping, the plastic waste, inside the river and so on. But now's the time for us to pay back. Okay, we need to receive, whatever been done before, and those plastic, okay, actually it's been what you call it, swallowed, by sea creatures. Okay, for instance, animals, in the
Yes.
sea. Okay, and now
Yep.
becoming, very, very small size, become micros, very easy to enter our organs. And now, in fact, if you read, the recent finding, the scientists found, okay, that infant in human body, okay, is contain, some microplastic as well, and this gender. So if you're not really taking care, of our environment, okay, so we're going to pay for it. Okay? So that's really what been told, by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, okay, for Muslim. Okay, we have a lot of guidance actually from Quran and Hadith regarding this. That's why, okay, we as a Khalifah, it's better, okay, we do our job. Inshallah.
Okay, and last question from Anwan Nasiruddin. Why would you recommend people to be in touch with nature?
All right, I think maybe more or less similar answer like what been asked by Soraya. Okay, so actually, we feel, okay, that we have a choice. Okay, we feel that we have a choice. We feel that it's up to us. You can be somebody that don't really care, about the environment. Okay, but once the impact come, once the worst impact come, like, when we're having, a big flood, okay, for instance, everybody, okay, whether you care about nature, you don't care about nature, okay, it's going to hit you. Okay, so that's why, and actually it's a process of healing as well. If you take nature as your friends, okay, as your friend, okay, I mean, as a result, okay, maybe I don't know, in my case, when I, for instance, if I sit quietly, on the beach, okay, for instance, okay, just watching, the what you call it, the sunrise, I can spend hours, from there. I can listen, I mean, to the what you call it, the ombak, and in fact, sometimes I can cry, I can cry, but by simply relating what we see in front of us and try to relate with some of the verses, okay, that I highlighted just now. Okay, you feel that you are really very little, and you see that in front of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, actually you are nobody, and it's kind like giving you like a healing to you, and you become a stronger in a way. It's like giving your eternal energy, okay, for you to move on. I mean, things like that. Okay, so that's why in whatever angle, okay, I think it's important, okay, for us to be in touch, with nature. Okay, fine. Anything else?
Uh, I think that is all of the questions. Thank you again, Ayahanda. And thank you to everyone who is joining us in this late afternoon. Selamat berbuka puasa for those of us observing the holy month of Ramadan. Semoga tetap tepat Lailatul Qadar untuk kita semua.
Amin, amin,
I'm
amin.
Fahim Mubin, signing off from Eco Explorers, and wabila taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Assalamualaikum
everyone.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Fahim. I really enjoy, to be with you. Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.